refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm going to apologise on Johnny Nelson's behalf. He started an interview with IFL yesterday, and after 3 minutes,
You're just saying that you feel guilty because there's 6 men there waiting, and you jump that queue.
I didn't jump it.
Because I'm an honourable kind of guy.
Absolutely not jump it at all.
I said, you know what, I've got to do right by him, man, because I had to go to the job I get paid for. So you know what I mean?
Didn't jump no queue.
These men are hating on you. Trust me.
I've come to collect what I'm owed.
You got part outside's going to get scratched up, Jed.
Why are you wearing a hat back to front?
Because apparently that's what all the youths do.
What?
All the youths do. That's how I'm at home.
Have you ever seen Kevin and Perry? Have you ever seen Kevin and Perry?
No, I don't.
All I want to do is do it.
I don't watch that foolishness.
It's a good film. You're like a Jamaican Kevin. Anyway, Johnny, big test or not for Buatsi? Did he come through it comfortably?
I expect him to come through it. People are saying, is it a dangerous test putting him in with such a dangerous opponent? Not at all. Buatsi is a world-class fighter. And so therefore anything less is actually dangerous, because when you're getting against somebody that is not a threat to you, that's when you actually end up slipping and dropping the ball, because you need lifting, you need that challenge. Stefan is first time in the box outside Poland. He should have boxed Callum Smith. Good pedigree from the amateur through to the professionals, done a good job. So I think on paper this is a good fight that goes the distance, and I think it'll be a tough dig out, goes the distance. But Stefan will get hurt. He's got a big old long neck on him. You know, and Buatsi is a frustrated fighter that's chomping at the bit when he sees the yard, when he sees the Dan Azizes of this world coming through. So yeah, I get it.
I suggested to Buatsi yesterday. What?
We keep forgetting Lyndon Arthur. So let's just remember, keep him in that light heavyweight domestic mix.
I ain't forgetting Lyndon Arthur. You're forgetting Lyndon Arthur.
Sorry, Lyndon.
Johnny, I suggested to Buatsi yesterday that part of the reason why Stefan might have been chosen is obviously the fight fell through with Callum Smith a little while ago, and that could have been the idea behind the matchmaking, as they didn't fight to have Buatsi fight Stefan. Is that a fair comment? Or?
Yeah, I get that. And also, you've got to look at the light heavyweight landscape here in the UK. You've got Smith, and so you think, where would you put them? Where would you stand them all? Every fighter is going to believe they are the best domestic champion. But so this would be a measuring stick for Joshua Buatsi to say, "Well, you're going to put him in with Callum Smith. Let me just show you what I'm about. We're at light heavyweight now. You know, things are different here." I think, proven and on paper, you've got to say Callum Smith's like top dog so far on paper. But of course, Buatsi's saying, you know what, give me my chance. Give me my fair chance, and I'll show you. You know, I deserve to be top dog.
It should be an interesting night in Birmingham this Saturday, obviously live on Sky Sports. Johnny, have you seen Simon Jordan's tweet? Well, it wasn't his tweet, it was what he said regarding the purses of what this fantasy night, should we call it, in Saudi could be. Eddie Hearn replied with a laughing face, which suggests that could be inaccurate. Did you see the purses?
I saw the purses. 90 million for Tyson Fury, 50 million for Alexander Usyk, 30 million for White and Josh for Anthony Joshua.
I think you've got it all wrong so far, but let me just...
50, 90.
Hold on.
All right, I'll apologise in a minute.
90, 50, 30, 30.
Oh, sure, that's what I just said.
This is according to Simon Jordan. 90 million for Tyson Fury, 50 million for Alexander Usyk, and 30 million apiece for Joshua and Wilder.
And if that is the case, remember, at the end of the day, you can't sniff it. And Tyson Fury is going to hustle and argue with his biggest person, even though he's the one that's not got the most titles out of a lot of them. He's the one that's actually proven, and he's the one that would actually make that mix. those ingredients even special, make the whole tournament special. So I get it, and he's just hustled himself the biggest burst. You can't blame him. If you're a fighter, an ex-fighter, you're going to think, I should have hustled this, I should have hustled that. So I don't blame Tyson Fury trying to squeeze as much dough out of this fight game as possible. And if that's what they're going to offer, and the other fighters are happy about it, why not?
Do you see the fight actually coming off?
Yeah, I do.
Like both fights on the same night?
Yeah, I do. If they're talking that kind of dough and all of a sudden moves are being made with fighters that were supposed to fight, then they're not fighting, yes, I do. I really do, and I think that's a great coup for Saudi.
Do you think every fighter will fight prior to December?
They'd be silly if they did, and if they did, it'd have to be a proper pushover fighter. I can imagine Tyson Fury doing it. I think he's got the arrogance and the self-belief to think, I can take the risk. I'm king of the hill. But the rest of them...
What about Joshua and Dillian White?
I don't know, you've got to wait up, man. You've got to wait up, and I think, will Joshua do it? Or will Joshua do what I probably said he should have done after he lost to Usyk, saying, have a year out, get your shit in order, get your head in order. So he's got time to really work on him for what will be his most dangerous fight in his career. So in mine, I hope he does. I hope that time out, that's where he can get that union, get his head in the right space, get his attitude and desire in the right place. I hope that is the case. So to me, I ain't got a problem with that.
What do you think about the Joshua Wilder fight as a fight for Anthony Joshua?
I saw a piece at Carl Frochton, and he was brutal, man. Basically saying Joshua gets wiped out against Wilder, and I'm like, what's happened there? And listen, you can see that. You can see why he's saying that, because Wilder is the most dangerous puncher in the world. And if Anthony Joshua boxes the way he did the last time, I totally agree with Carl Froch. If he boxes the way he did last time, which is why he needs to get his shit in order for if this tournament comes off in December. He needs to get it in order. So I can understand where Carl Froch is coming from, but you've got to also remember Anthony Joshua can punch. Anthony Joshua is technically a better boxer than Wilder, in my opinion. So therefore, even though Wilder just needs that split second to get that shot in over the 12 rounds, I'm just saying, don't for Carl to write him off like that. I hopefully he's going by what he's just seen in his last performance.
What did you think of Thomas Hauser's article? Did you read it?
I know what you're saying, bullshit. He's got Thomas Hauser, enough respect to him, but sometimes it comes out some proper bullshit. And he, for a guy that's never fought, especially at world level, to come out and say Anthony Joshua should retire, that was the bravest thing he did, that just stinks of spite and foolishness. That decision making is down to Anthony Joshua, and it comes from the voice and the mind of somebody that doesn't understand what it takes to be a fighter. From someone that doesn't understand the addiction of being able to fight. Now I'd understand if Anthony Joshua had been battered left, right and centre. He got to a stage like, well over the hill like, I don't know, Roy Jones, Evander Holyfield. So that's like being in a tough fight. Him saying it then, I say, I understand where you're coming from. But when he's saying it to Anthony Joshua, that hasn't actually had much damage. He's had a couple of losses, 3 losses, but he hasn't had much damage as a fighter. So I don't understand where he's coming from, because I just don't get it. So, and if anybody had the right to say that, it'd be me. Or it'd be someone that's fought before. But how's he saying it from a layman's point of view, a civilian's point of view, that doesn't understand what it takes to make a fighter?
You've told people they should retire though in the past, haven't you?
Because I can. I've done it, man. I've been there. You know, and if you agree with me or not, it don't matter. You know, but I've been there. I've been punched in the face. I've won, lost and drawn. I've been there. So I can stand and argue with you why I say it. You can't say it because you've never done it.
No, but I can say you should retire as a pundit.
But you'd never...
I'm qualified to say that, yeah?
Okay, yeah. We're in that. We're in the mic world. This is
Joking.
But what I'm saying to you is, I'm defending fighters. And what happens is, and you'll know, when fighters are interviewed by other fighters, you get a more authentic interview than you get when fighters are interviewed by a layman. Because you don't respect where they're coming from. You're like, say what you have to say and move on.
Okay, to give John Ryder any chance against Canelo?
Big fan of John Ryder. In reality, I think John Ryder will do a lot better than what most of us think, but I don't think he wins against Canelo. I think Canelo is smart enough to, and even though he's not the fighter he was, Canelo, I think the fighter is beats John Ryder.
Just the last one, obviously Conor Benn's out in Mexico. He's been kind of talking to the media again now, but Yeah, it's just time. This is all kind of drawn a line under, moved on. Whatever's going to happen with it, happened with it. I mean, and see Conor back in the ring surely
So I
now.
said from day one, Conor Benn, put your hands up, say, even if he agrees with it or not, put your hands up, say, all right, I'm going to take my licks, let me do my time and fight on again. This arguing and fighting, cussing, and it doesn't matter. You still got to go through the process. The board aren't going to change their mind. No matter who you sue left, right, and centre, say you got it wrong, this, that, and the other. He spent so much time where he could have been actually running part of his ban. Say if it was a 2-year ban he got or 3-year ban he got, he'd be a year out by now. You know what I mean? So therefore, he's got to take his licks. Just accept it. And he's actually saying, you know what? I understand what the people are saying. Because you're basically saying, believe me, and not your lying eyes. That's what he's kind of saying. So he now understands, but he's an emotional kid that wears his heart on his sleeve. And I rate Conor. I rate Conor as a young individual, hungry man that's had to fight under the shadow of his dad's name. So you know what? Something's happened. Take your licks. Take your ban. Do what you've got to do.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah.
If you thought you were, or you believed you were genuinely innocent,
but, you know,
which is what Conor does, you would just accept it and just like.
There's too much evidence that say otherwise. So I can stand and say out.
We don't know everything though. Listen, I'm not saying. Listen, I'm just saying we don't know everything about the situation. We know what we've been.
What do we know? We do know is this.
Okay, he's failed 2 tests. We know that.
We do know. And so let's not muddy the waters. He's failed the test. That's it. That's all we need to know. So if he's failed the test, 2 tests, deal with it, man. Accept your licks, move on, fight on, and say, right, I'm back. This is me. It's always going to be. Now, all we talk about with Conor Benn and his career is the drugs. We're not talking about how this kid has flown through and done so well, and as a fighter developed and gotten so good. We're talking about the drugs. He needs to at least spend a couple of times. He needs a year or two for people to now start talking about him as a fighter, not associating Conor Benn drugs cheat. That's unfortunate. That's where he's mixed in, and facts are he failed the test. It doesn't matter wrong or right. He failed the test.
Listen, I know you've still got a queue of people waiting for you. I was going to speak to you for another 15 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. Johnny Nelson, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. We look forward to a great night here in Birmingham tomorrow live in Sky Sports. Joshua Bull actually headlining against Steffian, Ben Whittaker, Lauren Price, obviously in Bavington for the first ever female British title. So yeah, it should be an interesting night.
A good night, I think. Birmingham. I'm surprised there's not been many more shows on here in Birmingham because it's like the centre of England. It's like 100 miles from London. You know, getting from Manchester, Yorkshire, and there's some good venues here to put fights on. So I hope they're doing a lot more.
You know, you got a bit of thing there. There.
I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,